He 29 male still wants to be friends with me 34 female. Bad idea. And what went wrong here? Kind of a long story. My apologies. I've been in the same mutual friend group with this guy for about 4 years. I've always had a bit of a crush on him. But I can't say that we were ever really friends. We would rarely talk. Often going months without communication. And when we did talk, it was usually only to flirt, discuss kinks, make playful banter before asking each other out, and not following through for multiple reasons. But I can't say it was ever consistent. In February, we started talking a lot more through playing a game together. We still flirted. But we actually started talking. Eventually he asked if I still liked him. Because he'd grown to really like me. 2. I was more mature, and a more appealing person to him now. Not sure if that's a red flag or not. After a few weeks of talking, he said he wanted to see me once we got vaccinated. One of the things he said after we discussed bad past dating experiences was, "Great. Let's not get into a relationship together." I responded with yeah. And then what happens when feelings grow? His response was, "Oof. I don't know. Also, I don't care. Because I'm just excited." Actual red flag considering we both knew I liked him. I know. We started seeing each other in May and just instantly rolled with the chemistry. Since we were waiting for lockdown to lessen, all the dates were at my house. So they grew S3xual super quickly. X was great on my end. Though for him I know he had some preferences that I told him I'd need some time to get comfortable with. He said he was happy being patient and didn't want to force me into a role I wasn't comfortable with. After about the 2nd or 3rd week, I asked him if he was seeing anyone else. He said no. But that I could if I wanted to. He just wanted me to be careful about it. I said that I only wanted to see him. And we agreed to exclusivity. At the same time, this was when he decided to tell me that he was planning on leaving town once he finished school this summer. He said it sadly. And looked at me before saying, "But you really threw a wrench in those plans." I told him I didn't want to keep him from moving and doing what he needed for a job. And he said that he wasn't sure he was okay with long distance, and he wanted to find something close to me if possible. Following this, he kept telling me he wanted to be my boyfriend. But he couldn't commit until graduation. I got a lot of "we're reading the same book. But that's just a chapter or 2 ahead," or "yes, we're compatible. You're near the top of my checklist," or "wow. Talk about a dream girl," or "I'm trying not to be smitten. I'm telling myself I need to figure out everything else first. But I like you and I want us to be a thing." Not a week later, this suddenly turned into him telling me he's super introverted. We've been spending a lot of time together. And it's exhausting him because of his personality. And we should drop it back to 1 date per week versus 2. Here's where I made my first mistake. I asked him how we were supposed to let the relationship grow if we were slowing it down. He responded by saying that he wasn't sure of his feelings for me. That he's never really developed feelings for someone he's seeing, and he thinks he might be aromantic. He said he would prefer temporary and casual because of his eventual move. I took this as him simply not being into me, and cut things off by wishing him well and telling him to let me know if he ever decides he wants to give us a shot. The next day, he asks to get together 4 days later so that I could give him something he had delivered to my house while we were still dating. I agreed. And I was prepared to simply have dinner, give him the mail, and say goodbye. But he wanted to walk around downtown after dinner. And we had a 3-hour conversation about how he wasn't sure if he could really do this. But that I was the most special girl in his life, and he wanted to give it a try. And that we would reset our dating arrangement if it works out the same way. Though, we agreed to go on actual dates instead of hanging out at my house. We managed to go on 1 date. After which we did have After which he did gently criticize me for not meeting his kinky ideal that he'd previously promised not to force me into. In the few days between our breakup and reset, I set up a few dates with other people over online dating. Just coffee dates. Nothing S3xual. But one guy I saw did lock down a second date at the end of the first. And the second date was scheduled for after I reset with the guy I've been crushing on seeing. I told him I had this date, thinking he would ask me to cancel or be chill with it, since we never touched on exclusivity for the reset. His response was essentially, "Yeah, go for it. You got the condoms I bought for us so you have protection." Then afterwards, when I told him that comment was disrespectful, he told me that he didn't understand the point of me going on the date. Seemed to be hurt that I was keeping my options open, and said the comment was meant to be teasing. But he stressed that keeping my options didn't equate to wanting to pursue long-term relationship. This has led to 3 days of arguments, miscommunication, both of us flaking on a date and me calling it quits yet again. He is now saying that these issues have informed him that we are incompatible. He informed me that he doesn't do casual, that this was anything but casual. Yes, he was into me but didn't have super strong feelings yet, and he was wanting to see if they'd develop. He felt he was emotionally unavailable, and was trying not to be. Etc. He's worried he can't match my feelings. And I've told him twice that feelings are seldom matched or perfectly aligned. I have tried to explain that he has gone from casual friend with benefits to I want to be your boyfriend to I don't have feelings for you am romantic to I want to try back to casual friends with benefits to I am monogamous, and don't do casual X, and frankly, I don't know what he is trying to be, and I don't think he does either. He says he has never tried to dupe me. Our intimacy was real, and he treasures me. But now because of the last 3 days, we are incompatible, and he no longer wishes to work towards something long-term. Yet he wants to stay friends. He even offered to go on the remainder of our planned dates as friends. I asked him what the point of that would be. And that truly I've never really seen us as friends. Our history is nothing but brief flirtation and false starts. This seemed to really hurt him, and he asked how I could possibly even want a relationship with someone I wasn't friends with. He said he still wants me in his life. Before our conversation ended tonight, he said he almost invited me over to swim at his house like we planned weeks ago if I hadn't ended things this afternoon. In the same breath, he said we shouldn't be friends or talk for the next 1 week. Despite the huge fuss he'd made about me not being sure I could maintain a friendship. He assures me this wasn't just a X thing. That he cares. That he was into me, but he just didn't know if we would work long term, and he's been figuring out his feelings in real time. This guy has never been in a real relationship before. And I knew that going in. But even as a teenager and in my early 20s, I've never experienced a roller coaster like this. Is this an age difference thing? Did I get duped? Or did I duck up by relying on my usual dating process of mirroring the other person's level of interest? I feel like the goalposts kept moving here, but I wanted an outside perspective. Am I right to feel like I deserved better? What would a friendship with this guy look like going forward? And am I absolutely crazy for thinking he's just saying whatever sounds right in the moment? Too long didn't read. Guy I've been seeing for 2 months has been moving goalposts from friend with benefits casual to I want to be your boyfriend to I don't have strong feelings for you to being offended that I am keeping my options open. And now he's decided we're suddenly incompatible because of these issues. But he still wants to be friends. Doesn't know what the future holds. And wants me in his life. I've tried to cut and run twice, and he keeps asking me to stay at least as a friend. What? I like him so much, but this is making me insane. Trying not to be paranoid, but I feel he's gaslighting me into oblivion. Yes. You deserve better. He is perfectly content to stay in this limbo. As long as he is in control. He's not going to commit. Because he doesn't want to. There's no point to being friends. Yeah, he's playing every card in the deck and doing heel face turns like crazy. It might not be completely malicious or cold. Maybe he just can't help himself. But you absolutely should not put yourself through this. A younger me would have said give him one more chance, and tell him he has 0 strikes left, but that's no way to live. Just kick him to the curb. You're both too old for these games. He just can't help himself. If I were to guess, he also struggles with similar things in the rest of his life. Overcommitment, indecision, poor boundaries, wanting to have his cake and eat it too, etc. Thanks for naming those things. I was in a rush and couldn't think of the specifics. Yeah. Dude needs hella therapy. I think this is correct. I don't think he's ever had a steady job. He also told me in the wait for me to graduate timeline that he'd be finished with school in a month unless he needed an extension. But he didn't feel that would be necessary. A week later, he told me he'd asked for an extension. Second story. Me 32 male with my girlfriend 36 female for 3 years. Broke up. She wants to get back together but be friends with benefit until things change. My girlfriend and I had been seeing each other for 3 years, and about 4 weeks ago, we had an emotional tired conversation on our way to dinner, and she ultimately decided she wanted to be done. Wasn't sure if she wanted to continue on the same path with me. We chatted later and ultimately me saying that I want to talk more about us. And she responded back with she needs time, space to take a breath and think about. Not related too much. But a week later we both got struck down by COVID, and she felt that for like 2 weeks hard quarantine. We just shared little things here and there but nothing intense. She messaged that she missed me, and that I was her best friend. But still felt like moving forward with her decision. Just felt like an emotional roller coaster with her. But again, just giving her space to breathe. She was asking the other day if I could watch her young daughter since she had to work. So I hung out with her and she came home and chatted like normal. Turns out, her ex-sister-in-law was in town. And she chatted about our relationship. And her sil suggested that she take a breath and work on us again. Which gave her a motivation to do so. Last night, she messaged me and asked to talk about our relationship. Which went into a 2-hour conversation, and this is what she ultimately wanted to do. She said, I am not sure where my mindset is with you right. But I miss you and want you in my life. Basically, she says I want to work on us. But I don't want to feel like I want all my eggs in one basket for the time being. She says I want to be open to the idea that if during that an opportunity arises where I might explore a connection if it happens. Like talking with a guy and that leading to hanging out at a coffee shop. She said it also means that if something happens physical, I want to be open to that as well. She said if something physical happened, I would want you to know because if we're going to be physical that affects you's soul health and all, and I trust her a good percentage that she would tell me about that. She also said that she doesn't want me to feel like I am restricted to her during this time, if something opens up for me to explore. But basically saying that let's continue to work on each other. A friends with benefits status. And until we get back to that point of commitment, and me wanting to put all my eggs in your basket. That I have to be open to the fact she might interact with another guy in the meantime. She says she is not seeing anyone at all now or planning on doing dating services or anything. Just that she wants to be open if the opportunity arises in the meantime. The issue is, I don't feel the need to go out and explore other relationships right now. I have a connection with her, and that's what I want. I know full well that I could sign up for Tinder today and find some dates and connect with someone. I don't want to look around for more options. I want to keep exploring and working on us. She isn't in a headspace right now where she feels like she can commit to a relationship with me. And there's nothing I can do about that. The thing is, I don't want to be just friends with her. Like obviously the benefits things open up that intimacy and for us to work on each other. But there is no end date with it. I get it that she has to work this organically moving forward. And it's a good thing that she wants to work on things. Just sucks to feel like she wants to open to dating and exploring, while I am not in the mindset to do that. I just want a committed relationship with her that I experienced before. She isn't new enough for me to just enjoy friends with benefits. It just feels she downgraded us to that and says, we'll work on things and see how things go forward. To me, there isn't a timeline or goal with that. What could that look like? A month? 2? 6? It feels like right now it would be like going back to a girlfriend. But that she could be dating sleeping with someone else. But in this case she is telling me openly that it might happen in the meantime until we get to the point where she wants to be back to being in a committed relationship. I don't want to explore a different relationship because it means connecting with someone, which eventually leads to X. Which means I feel that I should tell her then I had X with someone. Which to me then feels like she might want to equalize the score and sleep with someone else if she hasn't already. So anyways, I've never been in this situation before. Having a relationship downgrade on one side. It seems so much simpler to say I am done and move on. But I know what I had with her. And it sounds like she wants to work on it as well. So that's hope for me. But in the meantime, she wants to be open to explore other connections. I'd rather just commit to working on us again, and if she feels hesitant and things aren't moving forward, just break it off. The feeling is that it's almost the same thing since she says it's not like I have anything lined up. Just if an opportunity arises. Well, not sure what that could look like in the future. I feel like I am okay moving forward with each other. Working on each other. I just feel like every single day I will be feeling. So is it good now with us? And at the same time, dread if she ever told me, hey, just letting you know, I slept with this guy last night. Just because you and I are being physical, I thought you should know that. How should I respond to that? Like I said, it feels like having a girlfriend and she's like, oh yeah, I met this guy. We hung out a few times. And then had X. I get it, she's not ready to jump back into a committed relationship right now, but wants to work on things. It just hurts that she might be out exploring another relationship in the meantime. While I do not. Because that usually ends to X. And if I am getting to the point where I am having X with someone while trying to work on another relationship, it feels too convoluted. Like at that point you are having multiple relationships. Like if I am coming over for dinner and hanging out at her house. I feel she would never bring someone home to meet her kids unless it was a serious relationship. So to me that feels like if she did that she is shifting gears. And also means that things aren't working for us. Which is something I want to know so that I can move on. Wall of text. But basically, I love her and want to work on our connection. And I feel like she does too. But I feel she's using that time as a window to explore and feels like she can choose me and not be defaulted to me. In the meantime, I have anxiety how to approach my days with her. Like I said, I do not care at all if the opportunity came up that she is having coffee with someone or whatever. It's the anxiety that someday she might tell me, hey, just letting you know I slept with this guy. But if she still wanted to be in a relationship and working, that eventually it goes through to being committed. And now it's back to me and her. Just looking for some advice on how I should be approaching this. Should I be giving her that space and stick with being friends with benefits right now and see where things end up happening? Or is there something toxic here, and that I should be leaving and starting a new relationship? Thank you. Too long didn't read. She breaks up with me. 4 weeks later she is open to working on us again. But she doesn't want to be committed together until things improve. And in the meantime she wants to be open to date other people if it happens. I am still wanting to focus on her. Not sure how to feel progress. What are the issues that lead to you two breaking up in the first place? What changed that makes either of think it will be different this time? This isn't a friend with benefits arrangement. It's a forced open relationship built off the rotting corpse of your ended monogamous relationship. If you don't want this, don't agree. I am here to work on this relationship if that is what you want. But if you want to have X and work on developing relationships with others, then I need to take care of myself and move on. Just say no. She wants to have her cake and to eat it too. She wants to keep you on the back burner and keep having all the X as a backup plan while she goes out to date others. And let's be real. Shiny new relationships are fresh and exciting because you haven't seen the new person's flaws yet. Keep your dignity. If she wants to work on it, great, but that involves monogamy and hard work. Otherwise, if she wants to date others, then move on. She can't miss you if you are still around, and why would she ever give up the sweet deal of all the perks of a relationship without the responsibilities? Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.